What is up, YouTube? MrJamVad here with some black and white Wi-Fi for you guys. I took this at JD's stream, which I was at. I had a great time at that. This is like a 48 turn battle, so I sped it up very quickly. I will try to go into as much detail as I can, but some things might be missing. Sorry about that pop-up there. I don't know what happened. Something just like popped up all of a sudden. I was like, get out of there when I was recording. So I lead off with my choice specs Brosidon. Because, I mean, this thing does work in this match. It actually does. And I don't know why. I just felt like I was going to overpredict on the first turn. And Hydro Pump was the safest thing to go for. I go for that right off the bat and kill that Rotom Heat. Which is totally awesome because that gives me 1-up right away. So he goes into his McDonald's, his Snorlax, obviously to wall me. And this matchup you're going to see quite a bit of Snorlax switching in on Brosidon. So I go into my Manny Pacquiao because I thought Body Slam would do actually less than this, but it does more than I thought. Not only does it do more than I thought, but I get paralyzed from it, and I was just like, well, shoot. That definitely stinks. I was not hoping for that to happen, but hacks happens. It happens in both of our ways this match, so doesn't really matter. Right here, I went for the unprotected Focus Punch, predicting him to just Whirlwind straight away. But he didn't want to risk that, so he switches into his Cofagrigus. I'm not sure how you say it. But he switches into that, and I get Parahacks, so it doesn't really matter. He switches out as I switch out, I believe. We both switch out. Yeah, he goes into his own Roserade. As I go back into Brosidon, I believe. Yeah, because Brosidon could take the burn if he was to burn. Like Will-O-Wisp somebody off the switch, he could take it. He switches out right here as I believe I go for the Draco Meteor, and yes, he goes into his Snorlax because Snorlax is the only thing he has on his team to take Dracos from a choice specs Brosidon. And Brosidon does work. Look how much choice specs does. That does a little more in the fourth, I believe. Looks right, but after lefties and stuff, obviously I'm not going to want to stay in on this. And now, instead of going back into Manny, I go into my Gyeongju, my Hitmontop, to get the Intimidate off because I still thought that he would go for the Body Slam, which he does. I was like, please don't Parahacks this thing too. That would also be bad. But no, he doesn't. I take that quite nicely due to me getting that Intimidate off at least. So I switch out here, predicting his Roserade to come back in to take the close combat. So I go out into my Knight. That is exactly what happens. And he goes out into his Roserade. That was a great prediction on my part. But I set up the sub, and I was like, why am I faster than him? Turns out he shows the Leech Seed, which means he's like a stally sort of set. And now I don't even think he can do anything against me. So I'm going to set up a Swords Dance when he switches out. He goes out into his Swampert, which I get a little bit of hacks help, actually a lot of hacks help against the Swampert. As I set up my Swords Dance, so I'm at +2. This next turn, I go for the Iron Head, as you will see here in just about a second. Yes, I go for the Iron Head. Not only do I get the crit, which I know I just kind of gave that away, because look how much that does. Not only do I get the crit, but I flinch hacks him, which is just like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, hacks happens. That kind of sucks. Because this thing walls my Knight to death. I was actually not predicting him to have Roar, but I was predicting him to show the Stealth Rocks, which is why he would why I wouldn't go for Sucker Punch and had to stick going for Iron Head. But he goes Brosidon is dragged back in by that Roar. So now basically everything this time's in. I can still hit Snorlax hard, switch out into my Hitmontop, take the Body Slam, and take it better. Yes, I can take it better. That's the word that I'm looking for. I can take it better than this Snorlax can take the Draco Meteors. So, after actually looking at that, I feel kind of like a Draco Meteor could take it out. But then again, he's not only going to get this lefties, but then the next lefties. And I don't know. I'm not sure if that is kind of where I want to be. So I do the exact same thing like I did last time. Except this time, he switches out on his own. He goes into his Heracross, which this thing is very scary. I believe it's a Scarf Heracross, and I did not bring a Scarfer on my team. And my only priority is right here in Manny, which is just like, wow. That's kind of sad, having my only priority be on a Pokemon which is paralyzed and is now dead, I believe. No, I live on 26 HP. Yeah, that's what happens. I live on 26 HP. And yes, okay, so he's got my only priority, but for some reason, when I clicked on it, it must have said that I clicked something else because I don't know why. I went for the bullet punch and somehow it wasn't faster. I have definitely no clue how that happened, but now he's at -4, and I need to put something to sleep, is basically what I was thinking, because no way he'd stay in close combat Roserade, because that would be quite pointless. So I put his marijuana asleep, and he's going to switch out just to get the natural cure, which I forgot about at the time. I honestly did forget about that, and I go for the Sludge Bomb on this Heracross. I was thinking with my luck, he's going to get that Guts boost or something crazy like that, but he doesn't. And now I'm going to get the Intimidate off, and while he goes for the Mega Horn, I believe he goes for the Mega Horn at least. Yes, he goes for the Mega Horn. It does about a little bit. It does a lot more than I was expecting. But then again, that was a crit because it does so much damage, and obviously it was a crit because he had the Intimidate drop, and he's a Choice Scarf. At least I still assume he's Choice Scarf. So he goes into his Tuttenstein as I switch out, predicting. I think I was predicting that thing. But right here is where I make a very dumb move because I forgot about Natural Cure. So I was like, all right, since Roserade's asleep, I can start setting up Calm Minds, and then I believe 2 Scalds can kill it from the HP where it's at, and then it switches in and it's awake, and I'm like, wait a second, that thing's got Natural Cure. I had a complete brain fart, and that sucks because now I don't know what to do. Besides going to my Knight, which walls this thing, but he does get to set up the Leech Seed because I'm not sitting behind a sub or anything. And that Leech Seed gets to be annoying rather late in this game. Actually, it just gets to be annoying just because it's Leech Seed. Whoa. That is enough said. So, right here, he switches out back into his, back into his Swampert to take my Iron Head. And I believe it does live. It does. And then, earlier, there was a battle where Azumarill... Yeah, this Blastoise was in the reddest of red, kind of exactly like the Swampert was. And then I used Aqua Jet, and it lived on 11. Then I used it again, and it lived on 3 HP. So it was just like, what? So I go for the Sucker Punch over the Iron Head again, just for some dumb luck that I always have, and that wouldn't kill by some crazy chance. But I'm glad that he didn't take the chance to set up his Stealth Rocks, because that would have been terrible for me. Going for the Sucker Punch, not breaking it, and then having to go for the Sucker Punch again. So he goes back into his Heracross as I have to go into my Hitmontop to take this close combat as it does, and I get the defense drop and everything on him. What am I talking about? Get the defense drop. His defense drops, and he knows he's in much trouble as I am, considering I have the Sucker Punch. I believe that is what I go for. Yes, I do go for the Sucker Punch, and at this point, my Hitmontop has done its job. It can just go die. That's the nicest way to say it, at least. It can just go die. It takes the Shadow Ball and just dies. It gets a Toxic, which is very nice to have a Toxic on this wall, because, it is a wall after all. Ha 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 ha. If that makes any sense at all. So I go back into my Broside and just hit something hard. I go for the Hydro Pump, predicting him to stay in. Not only that, but I wanted him to go into his Americans, and then that crit, I'm not sure if it mattered, but I don't know. I don't know if it mattered or not. But I was actually hoping him to go into Americans, would take the Hydro Pump, and then would be forced to get hit by another Hydro Pump, which is what I was thinking. He sets up the Leech Seed, but it doesn't help him at all because, I can't be Leech Seeded considering I'm Roserade. I put this thing back to sleep. All I basically want to do against this Roserade, because I can't really do anything to it besides hit it with a Leaf Storm, I guess. I went for the Leaf Storm predicting something to come in, and that is not what happens. He gets the first turn wake up, does the seeds on predicting me to switch, which is very smart on his part. Unfortunately for him, I was dumb and stayed in. I don't really know how to say that. But that is how that went. And he's asleep again. And this time, I had a feeling he'd stay in. So I think I switch out right here because he stayed in last time, so why wouldn't he stay in this time? At least that's my thinking. I need to get this thing in and hit him with a Draco Meteor. But he switches out into his Choice Scarfer. And he switches out, yeah, he switches out again and back into his Marijuana, his Roserade, as I hit it with the Hydro Pump. I probably should have went for the Draco Meteor. That would have made my life a whole heck of a lot easier because this thing just gets in a giant stall war. And as you can see from the time left, he doesn't have many Pokemon left, and yet there's still that much time left. So he sets up his layer of spikes, which I'm totally fine with because that doesn't even help him in the long run, honestly. So I go for the Sleep Powder. I still haven't missed a Sleep Powder, which is very, very nice. Put him back to sleep. All I'm trying to do for this thing is force it out of there so I can get my Brosidon in there to hit hard. And that is basically just as what I need to happen. So he does the exact same thing, switches out, except this time he goes into his Snorlax as I stay in Sludge Bomb, predicting him to stay in like he did last time. And the Sludge Bomb does quite a bit, enough to kill after this next one. But I believe I walked away from the DS at the thing right there and didn't see how much that did. So he goes back into this thing, take the second Sludge Bomb because I thought Sludge Bomb would kill. And Sludge Bomb does not as much as I'd hope it would. I thought it'd do a little bit more, but then I realized that he's running a bulky set of this. But he switches out again. Basically, all he did, why he did that, is to put his Snorlax asleep, so his Roserade wouldn't have to keep putting asleep, and I can't break the sleep clause. That is why he did that, because my sleep powdering was very much annoying him, and I can see why, because I kept doing it. But I mean, hey, when you have the chance to do it like that, why not do that? So he stays in, which I wasn't expecting, and I switch out because that's really just what I have to do. And so I hit him with the Iron Head here. It actually doesn't kill him just because he's Snorlax and he's got like over 9,000 health. I don't know why. I was kind of curious. Maybe he was running the Sleep Talk variant, but he does not show that. And right here, everybody on the stream was like, "Hey, I wonder if Sucker Punch hits if you go for an attacking move." And I was like, maybe. But I didn't want to risk it because that'd look extremely dumb, Sucker Punching in a sleep Pokemon. Because that, I don't know if that would work or not. If you know if that works, please let me know, because I definitely don't know. So he goes into his Night, as I have to go into my Roserade to take that close combat, which I think is coming. And that is what is coming. Yes, that is what is coming. So I take that close combat. Unfortunately for me, I am not a bulky variant, and that did a heck of a lot. I thought that'd be a crit, but that wasn't a crit. And oh, apparently I got a Skype call during this time that I did not see. Sorry for that Skype. I definitely was recording and walked away. Sorry about that, folks, but that is gone very quickly. I definitely didn't even know that happened till now. So surprise, surprise. That is what I get for looking at this for the first time. So I go into my Brosidon, basically just to finish this thing off. But he switches out, goes into his this thing as a Draco, and this thing is no longer standing at this point, which means he has his just his Heracross left, and I still have my other Pokemon left. So he still has the Heracross left, and I was at -2 special attack, of course, from the Draco, so I did not want to stay in and for some odd reason have Draco not kill, because that would be totally bad. So I take this Mega Horn quite unnicely at all, but I was kind of hoping for him to kill me here. Actually, not here, but the next turn I was hoping for him to kill me, because with my luck I would Scald and then he'd get the burn. But he gets a crit here, which is like, wow, another crit. It doesn't even matter in the long run. I'm kind of glad it happened, because what if I went for Scald, it didn't kill him, and he got the burn, but he misses the Mega Horn as I hit the rest like a bum, and I actually did not want this to happen, because this gives him a very big chance of winning, believe it or not, because if I use Sleep Talk, I pull the Scald, he gets hurt, he lives, he takes the burn damage, then that is GG, I believe, because I'm not going to be able to take that Guts after everything after taking the Guts Megahorn and then another Megahorn. Then I have my Brosidon, which I thought, hey, if when Suicune died, I'd go into Brosidon. Brosidon would live the Megahorn, Draco at the end of the game, but that's not what happens. I pulled the Scald first time, and I was just like, yes, that is awesome. And so that is what happens here. And the second time, I also pull the Scald, which is another totally awesome thing that happens. And that's how the game ends. That is GG. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Please leave comments, like, subscribe, click that thumbs up button. I really like thumbs up. They make my day. Hopefully you enjoyed. Peace out, YouTube.